One more thing that I thought I would talk about this morning is the sunny side, the Philippines and the sunny side. And what I mean by that is, I remember this past winter, for some reason, it had to do more with just the climate and the weather and the length of days. But this past winter, I felt that I was struggling a little bit with kind of the winter blues. And I'm not talking about that I was clinically depressed in the medical sense, but I just noticed that when I would look outside and it was already really dark around 5 o'clock or whatever, 5:30. I don't know. It just kind of it put me in a it put me in a I don't know, a little bit different state of mind. I had the winter blues, I think. And now that's ironic because one thing that I was looking forward to when I moved back to moved back here from the Philippines is the change in climate. I do enjoy watching the leaves turn in autumn, and I enjoy it warming up again in spring and all that good stuff. But in the Philippines, you don't really have these drastic changes in the length of days, or to a certain extent, even in the climate. So, for example, right now, you here where I am in Alabama, the days are about an hour or so longer than they are in the Philippines. But then if we were to go back in January, then back in January, the Philippines, the days there were about an hour or so longer than they are here. And I'm sure all of you are aware that the closer you are to the equator, the more stable the length of days are throughout the year. Just like in the reverse is true. You get up where somewhere like in Alaska, you'll have a whole month or two that's purely day or purely night. But I think there's something to be said. I know that other expats have probably talked about this, about the weather being fairly consistent year round and the length of days being fairly consistent year round. That can have a positive impact on your mood, because obviously, since you never have a real winter in the Philippines, and also the best I can remember, yeah, that they don't do daylight savings times there. Daylight savings time, you really have kind of a consistent length of day throughout the year. It varies, an hour or so, but yeah, I think that can be good for your mood. And I remember, particularly in the last place I lived in Angeles City, even once it was nighttime, I lived in a subdivision, and you had street lights everywhere, so you could go out and walk around or whatever. Now, all this artificial light, in some ways, I hear it's not good for us. It can interfere with your sleep. But generally speaking, I found I think it was good for my mood. Now, you can look at me and tell that I am not what you would call a sun lover, because I basically, some of you other pasty people out there can relate to this, but I basically burn, freckle, and peel. I do not get a tan, and burn, freckle, peel, and then the fourth step are precancerous spots. I'm always having to get my dermatologist to zap little spots on my face and neck and whatnot. So it's not that I'm able to get out and sunbathe. That's not what I'm talking about. But the I think what you'll find is sometimes just the overall climate in the Philippines can be, pardon the pun, but can give you kind of a sunny disposition. You're just used to it being warm outside. You're used to having a certain amount of hours of sunlight every day. And for me, that just I think, like I said, that can be good for your mood. So it's something to consider. It's another reason to think about the possibility of moving to the Philippines or moving somewhere that has a kind of a similar type climate.